Hi, it's Siobhan Fletcher here, one of the journalists at Manx Radio, and welcome to the latest edition of our newscast. Well, today, residents from across the Isle of Man are invited to a community drop-in session to find out more about sustainability. Hosted by the Energy and Sustainability Centre, the event is part of their mission to promote the transition from fossil fuels to green energy. They're hoping they can debunk some climate change myths and clarify any questions people may have. Ahead of tonight's meeting, I caught up with two of the charity's directors, Adrian Cowin and Ralph Peake, to find out more. OK, brilliant. Can you both introduce yourselves for me?
Ralph Peake, Director of the Energy and Sustainability Centre.
Yourself?
Adrian Cowin, a Director at the ESC.
Perfect. So we're talking today about a community drop-in session. Do you want to tell me a little bit more about it and why people should come out to it?
Yes, we've got this event down at the Ballafesson Church Hall in Port Erin. This is part of a series of events we've had around the island, like roadshow we'd call it. And this event we're actually going to have, Adrian's going to give a talk at 7 p.m. But before that, we'd like just invite people to come in, have a drop in and have a talk with us, ask some questions. We've got some answers and we'd just like to have a talk. We want to listen to people. We want to really listen to what they think about the climate change, about renewable energy, anxieties they may have, and we want to try and reduce that fear by giving them some real scientific advice.
Do you think that you can then, when people come in with any concerns, you might be able to clarify the scientific position maybe around it?
Yes, well, I certainly hope so, because there's a lot of nonsense out there, unfortunately, on the internet and social media about various aspects of climate change and impacts, even for the little old Isle of Man. And if we can fill in those facts and with data and debunk some of the myths that are going around, then that's useful. But as Ralph has already said, I think it's also an opportunity for members of the public to talk to us and actually give us their viewpoint. We want to fill in any gaps in our knowledge, and if that happens to be from members of the public, that's fine by us. We're there to listen and equally answer questions and look forward to the future on the Isle of Man.
And you're saying this is the first in kind of a series of these events. Are you hoping then if people bring you maybe concerns or things you haven't thought about, you can go away, look at them, and then maybe at the next one address it, maybe people can keep coming back?
Yes, what the charity has been set up to do is to try and give information to the public, and that includes government as well as the public. And we've really got a fantastic database of information. Our other director, Dr. David Quirk, he works at the Danish Technical University, so he's right at the heart of all climate and renewable energy things in Europe. So we're very fortunate to have Dave there. And the information he's got his fingertips on is absolutely fantastic, and it really is relevant to the Isle of Man, because Denmark does have a number of islands, Faroe Islands as well as islands in the North Sea, and so they do understand the unique problems islands have. And it really is a great wealth of knowledge that we've been able to tap into and bring it here to the island, because we do know, and it's been proved that renewable energy is cheaper than fossil fuels, and it doesn't have the harmful effects to make our air quality poor from burning fossil fuels. All those particles really do damage people.
And you mentioned David there. I mean, both yourselves, people will have heard you on our airwaves before on Manx Radio, but kind of what expertise are you each bringing to the table? What are your fields of knowledge maybe that people can ask you questions about, and how, if they come with any particular topics that you guys, want people to come to you with, really?
Yes, well, I was glad to be invited to join the ESC team because there's a wealth of knowledge already scientifically with Dr. Dave Quirk, and the business and political knowledge and contacts we've got with Ralph Peake. But I've brought that extra ingredient, and that's local knowledge of 40 years of observing and forecasting the weather conditions, measuring the data and figuring out, well, what's changing in our climate, what's happening that was different from 40 years ago. And I bring that sort of knowledge to the table, but also my understanding for the climate change models, what the future is going to hold for us, what does that look like even on the Isle of Man, and the weather impacts, how can we mitigate, how can we be prepared and be safe and secure going forward.
And we're talking on a day when southern England's having a heat wave, and we can't see across the bay. So I'm just going to say on the record, what's happened since you left your job? Why has the weather gone gone rubbish for us?
You know, the number of people that stopped me in the streets, so to speak, to say, you know, it's gone downhill since I left the job last summer. And you know what? This is one aspect of the changing climate around the British Isles and the North Atlantic. A warmer atmosphere, a warmer ocean. Mm-hmm. You're going to see the atmosphere carrying more moisture. That translates into more cloud cover and sometimes more rain.
It's not good. I'm not a fan of this. So then I guess for those who do come for the presentation specifically, you know, what's in store for people?
Okay, so the presentation I'm looking forward to giving, that's from 7 o'clock, is a look at the data for the Isle of Man specifically in the context of the wider global picture. And then I'll zoom in to some key evidence in recent decades for some aspects that have changed. And then I'll look at the climate predictions for the next few decades, right up to the end of the century.
Finally, kind of what then is the charity's broader strategy that you want to get across, and you know, how do these events like this build into that?
Yeah, so it's really connecting with the public, the scientific knowledge we've got with Dr. Dave Quirk and Adrian Cowin to actually make that available to the public so they can understand it. So it's reducing the fear of the future, because there's a lot of distraction and untruths being said about the future, when really we're looking forward to a cleaner, healthier, renewable future with renewable energy that's much safer and cleaner to use. So we really do welcome people to come to the Ballafesson Church Hall in Port Erin this Wednesday from 4 p.m. We have got tea and cake on offer, and I've actually managed to get the world Bonnig champion to actually make us a Bonnig as well. So just the one Bonnig, so please come early if you want a slice of that. So we're going to have some tea and cake on Wednesday afternoon. Just pop in from 4 o'clock. Adrian will be having his presentation at 7 p.m, so we'll be there between 4 and 7 for a drop-in. Adrian's presentation starts at 7 p.m, and we hope to be finished by 8 o'clock.
Thank you for making it to the end of the Manx Radio newscast. You are obviously someone with exquisite taste. May I politely suggest you might want to subscribe to this and a wide range of Manx Radio podcasts at your favourite podcast provider, so our best bits will magically appear on your smartphone. Thank you.